Why is it important to purify and bless sacred Dharma objects we use in Buddhist practice? How do we purify and bless if we are not able to ask our teacher for the blessing? What is the essence mantra, and why is it considered the ultimate blessing in some traditions? Why can all Buddhist practice ultimately be considered purification? We answer these questions and cover the various ways you can purify and bless your Dharma objects for practice.
In Buddhism, our practice supports are usually related to our meditation aids, such as the mala. A mala is the practice support for mantra recitation and accumulation, an important merit practice in Vajrayana Buddhism. In fact, our mala is the one Buddhist symbol that is unique, profound, and complete. In Buddhist practice, the mala represents our practice. It represents the enlightened deity. It represents the Guru. It represents Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. It represents you. It represents me. It represents all beings.
This is expressed in the mantra that is often simply called the Mala Mantra, but is more properly called the Essence Mantra. It's the mantra we use to bless other objects, including our mala, which is the main topic of this presentation, inspired by a subscriber question. Although we don't have to have any physical object to practice Buddhism, they are Dharma aids to help us visualize, concentrate, meditate, and show devotion. And the mala in particular is the one object that represents all of them.
The beads of the mala represent Dharma speech. The string of the mala represents the body of the Buddha. The single larger bead represents the mind of the Buddha and also the Guru. When we do a mandala offering, the mala represents the entire universe, which we symbolize by coiling the mala around our hands. This is because of the essence of shunyata, or oneness. In non-Buddhist terms, we can call this star stuff.
We'll come back to what this means in a moment. For now, the important thing to recognize is that Dharma objects contain the essence of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and also the essence of every other thing. We bless them with the mantra that expresses this very idea. To use any of these objects in practice, they should be purified and blessed, ideally by your spiritual guide or teacher. If you don't see your teacher too often, you can certainly bless and purify them yourself. They should always be blessed and purified, and once they are, you must treat them as sacred objects.
For example, if you print a practice text from Buddha Weekly's library of practice texts and sadhanas, once you start using them in practice, they are now considered sacred Dharma objects. For this reason, you don't place your practice text or your mala or your bell and vajra on the floor.
Any object brought into your practice can and probably should be blessed. For example, a bell and vajra set which represents the wisdom and compassionate method of the Buddhas respectively, or a stupa ornament to be placed on your altar to represent Buddha's enlightened mind. Although you can think of the symbol as already sacred by design, it is the blessing that consecrates it to your practice and makes it meaningful and sacred to you.
If you create or purchase Dharma art or a statue, likewise, it is symbolic and meaningful to bless it. In particular, by tradition, if you inherit or are given or buy antique Dharma objects, it is best to purify and bless them. This symbolizes your aspiration to use them in your sacred practice without obstacles, such as worrying about the virtue of the previous owner.
Especially for objects such as treasure vases or the 8 auspicious symbols placed on an altar or a prayer wheel, or any offerings placed on an altar, all should be blessed to symbolize they are now dedicated to your Dharma practice.
There are 2 exceptions to these guidelines for blessing. If the object was gifted to you by your Dharma teacher, by virtue of the gifting, the object is already blessed. Likewise, any sutra or Dharma text can be considered sacred and blessed, as they contain the words of the enlightened Buddha. For all of these, the method is the same.
Before the object is blessed, you can ship it and package it and treat it a little more casually. But once you bless a mala or object, it is a Dharma object. For example, if through use your mala breaks, you respectfully gather all the beads and restring as soon as possible. You don't just buy a new one, and you definitely do not throw it away. Retired sacred objects, if no longer used, are still respectfully placed on an altar.
But how do we purify and bless when our teacher is not local, or we don't have current access to our teacher? Or, for some of us, we might not have a teacher. Can we self-bless and purify? Yes, we can. If we practice any sadhana in Vajrayana Buddhism where we make offerings, we already practice purification and blessing.
In fact, ultimately, you can say that all Buddhist practice is purification. In the case of Buddhist practice, we are purifying our negative karma, accumulated through the 5 poisons of anger or hate, attachment or clinging, jealousy or envy, pride or arrogance, and ignorance or not understanding. All Buddhist practices are about purifying these at all stages of practice. Even advanced Dzogchen and Mahamudra are about purifying incorrect perceptions of reality.
Central in all of these, if you have a formal practice such as a sadhana, usually you'll begin, after taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha with the essence mantra. For example, it is used prior to making offerings to bless and purify them. Later, it might be used if we are self-generating, likewise to bless and purify ourselves. The formula is profound, but short and simple. The 16-syllable Sanskrit formula as a mantra is
Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarvadharma, Svabhava Shuddho Ham.
While we chant this mantra, we visualize the essence of whatever we are blessing and purifying. Our offering, our mala, or ourselves, as ultimately pure in nature. The meaning of the mantra, as explained in commentary by Gelek Rinpoche, is
The nature of everything is oneness, everything is pure, naturally pure. That's what I am.
Alternately, this is translated as
All phenomena are naturally pure, they are pure in essence.
the mantra, again 3 times, is Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Svabhava Shuddho Ham.
Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarvadharma, Svabhava Shuddho Ham.
Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Svabhava Shuddho Ham.
With faith, this mantra instantly purifies you and whatever you are touching or holding. If you are blessing a smaller object, traditionally, after you chant the mantra a few times, you blow on it. This is because the mantra has purified your breath and speech. You might then touch it to the crown of your head and in front of your throat chakra and your heart chakra. These are the blessings of enlightened body, speech, and mind.
In fact, in formal practice, each time you pick up your mala for a formal session of Dharma speech in the form of mantras, you normally bless your mala again, reinforcing your mind's awareness that the nature of all dharmas and all beings is pure.
This mantra is not just a blessing or purifying mantra. It is a profound mantra containing the essence of Buddhist wisdom. It is the focus of many practices.
Since the essence of the mantra is pure by nature, no empowerment is needed to chant this mantra, and the result is immediate. In more elaborate practice, we might also first chant the Vajrasattva purification mantra, sometimes called the 100-syllable mantra. Some teachers recommend purifying with Om Ahum, which are the seed syllables of the enlightened body, speech, and mind. Some practices and sadhanas will incorporate all 3.
Even if you are not practicing with a mala or formally blessing an object, this mantra is used in daily practice to bless your offerings, whether you present physical or mentally visualized offerings. Most sadhanas incorporate the essence mantra.
Traditionally, for example, we might offer a mandala to the merit field of Buddha Dharma and Sangha at the beginning of each practice. We can use our mala for this offering by coiling it in our two hands, chanting the essence mantra, and then the mandala offering. We visualize our coiled mantra as the offering mandala. This is one reason why most Buddhists prefer to work with beautiful or attractive malas, since we often make mandala offerings using our mala as a substitute of the world mandala.
How can a small mala in your hand symbolize the entire universe presented as a mandala? Simply because, as the essence mantra teaches, the nature of all phenomenon, both the tiny mala and the vast universe, are in essence one. As the saying goes, they're all star stuff.
By using the mantra, we purify the essence and mentally transform the mala.
Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarvadharma, Svabhava Shuddhoham.
This is one of the reasons many Buddhists consider the mala indispensable to practice. It becomes, in essence, the symbol of every other thing in the universe. You, I, everyone, everything. Every world, every galaxy, every universe. We are all star stuff.
We dedicate the merit of this presentation to the cause for enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.